What's going on, y'all? So listen. What's going on, y'all? So I don't know. Listen, girl, we gonna figure out this schedule for what it is. And literally, it's just been a lot that's been going on because I had some stuff to do yesterday. I really was gonna try to get it out to you yesterday, but I had to deal with the fact that I had to go to all staff day at work. Now, if you out here in Chicago, all the libraries was closed because we have once a year where it's like a big convention, but it's not really a convention. It's like where every staff member who works within the library system gets together at the main library downtown in the Harold Washington Library, right? And, you know, we just go over, I guess I really don't... Because sometimes when I look at some of the stuff, it's like, what this got to do with me? But it really is helpful to a certain extent, especially like if you are dealing with public and, you know, some things are helpful towards our job. But maybe because I've been there so long and it's like, what else can we, what else is new? But it just don't excite me. It don't excite me. I'll be real with y'all. I went there just so I can get paid, okay? And I literally did absolutely nothing there that whole time. I was there from 9 to 5, okay? 9 to 5, you know? And did absolutely nothing. But, hey, I paid attention a little bit, but, you know, for the most part, it was a waste of my time. But, hey, it is what it is. And I was exhausted from that because, girl, 9 to 5 meaning that I had to wake up extra early because it's not... You know, it's not the same route where I go to my job is downtown and all that stuff. Girl, it was a mess. Anyway, I was just out of it, and I was waiting on some stuff to come. Plus, I had to watch this Amanda Seales interview. I was debating with myself whether or not I was going to watch it, but I was like, you know what, Ashley, don't do her like that, because you literally sat and you watched Cat Williams' interview, and I apologize for the glare and all of that stuff, girl. Like I said, it's summer, but y'all can still see me. Hopefully, yeah, the sun is really out, and it's about to go down, so don't worry about it. But, you got that going on, and then I was like, girl, you watched the Cat Williams interview, and you kikied at that, and that was like a 3-hour interview or whatever. You said and you watched the Monique interview, so how come you can't watch Amanda Seales' interview? There's no reason. So I watched it today, and it was a lot of discourse. Anyway, first of all, I hope y'all doing well. Okay, I hope y'all have been doing blessed. You know, I wanted to get that out the way before we get into the video. And I don't know how long this gonna be because I haven't ate anything, and I am hungry. And girl, it's 5:29. It is 5:30 right now, and I have not eaten anything all day. I want to go get my hair done. I want to go get my hair done because, girl, what's coming on next week? Next week is my sister's birthday. She's gonna be, girl, I don't know how old she is. I'm 4 years older than her, so whatever that is, subtract 37 from 4 from 37. What's she gonna be? 33? Okay, well, there's that. She's turning 33 on May the 4th, so she's a Taurus. Shout out to my Tauruses. You know, shout out to the earth signs. You know, we be doing that thing. But yeah, and we're going down to, she want to go down to New Orleans, so we're going down to New Orleans. We're going down to New Orleans on the 5th, so we'll be down there for a couple of days, and I'm just letting her do whatever it is that she want to do, you know what I'm saying, and I'm just going to be there to celebrate it with her, so there's that. It's just a fun little getaway for her, and you know, she deserves it because she's been so goddamn stressed out, but hey, congrats, and that's just what's going on. But anyway, let's get up into this. The Amanda Seales video. Now, it had came out the day before. I think it was either, you know how Shannon Sharpe, you know, he posts a picture of himself with the person that he's about to interview, right? I think the last person that I think I seen him post, and I didn't watch, was the Gorilla interview, but for some reason I watched that later. The Amanda Seales, because Amanda Seales has been getting a lot of backlash lately, and here's the thing. I can fully understand how come some people may not be like here for her? You know what I'm saying? I was one of those people who, until this day, I don't have a problem with Amanda Seales. I'm not going to sit here and say I don't like Amanda Seales, because that's not the case. If Amanda Seales put out something good that catches my attention, if she says something that I agree with, I'm going to be all the way here for it. This is pissing me off. I'm going to have to change this. This is what I don't like. You know, it's making me feel like y'all probably feel some type of way about the fact that the lines you know, the stuff is on, but I'm probably just a little bit too deep into my head. But anyway, Amanda Seales, she's just the type of person, like, she's polarizing. And I'm not the type of person that's just going to be like, oh, I don't like you just because I don't like you. And if I don't like you, I'm going to have a legit reason to say that I don't like you. Amanda Seales has not done anything to me personally, because I don't know her. She don't know me. But I can understand how she can be polarized, and I can understand how people may say I don't rock with her or whatever. And people have to understand, you can catch vibes from people that you don't know, people that you've never met. You could catch energy just from things that you have seen, right? And some people go off of that, okay? And that is okay. That is okay. It is okay to like a person, and it is okay to dislike a person, all right? But what I don't like is when you claim that you don't like a person, but when they make valid points or whatever, or when they put out certain experiences that they experience, you try to invalidate them, or you can't credit them and give them props for, yeah, I agree with that, and what you said is facts or whatever, but, you know, I may not necessarily rock with you, but that's your experience, and I would never invalidate you because I wasn't there, so I can't say that that's not what happened, but that's what you said happened, so I'm going to grow with it. And that's what I feel like some people just don't know how to do. Now, when it comes to me, again, I used to follow Amanda Seales. I watched all of her, like, comedy specials or whatever. And for the most part, funny. You know, she's very, very intellectual. And that is the reason why I was, you know, drawn to her at first. Because she was not one of those people that was just really out here just doing anything just to do anything. Like, she can back up some of the stuff that she says, a lot of the things that she says. She's very, very much intellectual, and I like that. I like a smart bitch, and I don't mean to call her a bitch, but I'm just saying I like a smart person in general, you know what I'm saying? But what kind of turned me, and it didn't even really turn me off. I don't want to use those words because, again, I don't have a problem with Amanda. I can say that she's not my cup of tea right now because it's a lot, and that's the issue. It's a lot sometimes, okay? I just say, in my opinion, for me, she can be draining, okay? She can be exhausting, you know? Like, I understand that you took on this, you know, want to be an activist and be here for us black folks, which I love and I appreciate, because we need more people that's going to stand on that. But sometimes it becomes too much, because it just be feeling like a debate is about to happen each and every time you talk to her, or every time you see something or whatever. It's the issue, it's the issue, it's the issue. And that has not turned me off, like saying, oh, I just don't like her, I don't fuck with her like that. I just took a distance. You know, sometimes you just got to take a step back. But I do say that whether I contributed to it or others, it has been a lot that people have been saying about Amanda Seales. And I think that some of it is warranted, and I think a lot of it is not warranted. You know, and again, like I said, people go off of energy. People go off of energy, and people go off of what you say and how you act or whatever. And for people that really don't know her and some of the things, like, it could come off very narcissistic. She can come off very narcissistic and very prideful or whatever, but, you know, and that can be off-putting. To a certain extent, it was a little off-putting to me, but at the same time, I'm here for a lot of things that she does say. I can give credit and props when need be. And I feel like people just don't know how to do that. People don't know how to do that. So we get this interview, and then the last thing, right before this interview happened, the last situation that we had with Amanda, you know, she had came out and she said the whole situation, the whole thing about how, you know, They say go to back where you're supposed to be appreciated. You know, she's out here doing the work for black people and all this, but yet you have black media outlets and events that don't invite her places like the NAACP, and you know she never been to the BET Awards, but yet she hosted the BET Awards. And when she said that, I ain't even gonna hold you, I thought that was really messed up. I thought that part for sure was really messed up, because when it was the pandemic and they did that first virtual BET Awards, Amanda Seales did that. And that was one of the best BET Awards that had happened in a while. Okay? And I just didn't know so many people did not really rock with Amanda Seales like that. It's okay to say that a person is a little bit draining and you have to take a little break or whatever, but people really are saying things as if like she's this terrible person. And I'm not going to sit here and say that she is, but I just... it's a lot, you know, and she just want to understand why she wasn't being appreciated or, you know, talked about and all this and invited. And I posed and I said, well, that's why, you know, you got people that say, you know, she's difficult to work with. And we already know when you put that label on people, especially black people, especially black women, because we see it more so with black women where, you know, it's already a hard time for them to get places in the industry, whichever industry, and then you put that, you know, angry, aggressive, difficult label on them. Oh, it's just gonna mess it up even worse than what it would for a black man. And I'm just saying, you know what I'm saying? We've seen it happen. We've seen Monique and all of that, and sometimes people get in their own way, right? And so when that, it's like you put something out there like that, and it's like you don't put it in a private situation where only a few people can, you know, comment. You put it publicly, so now you have everybody and their mama commenting, and you have people that have valid reasons to either like her or not like her, you know. And it was a lot of people, unfortunately for you, Amanda, it really was a lot of people who were saying that they did not rock with you. Okay, they said some things about how you acted when they interviewed you or when they came across you, and you do have this attitude as if you're better and all of this stuff or whatever. Mind you, I follow a few people and they were saying similar things, and these are people who are black journalists or media outlet people who was putting out their, you know, experiences. And I was like, wow, you know. And I mean, I felt, you know, people was like, it's a pile on. Yes, it was a pile on because she opened up this floor to the public. Now, had she not put it out there to the public like this, she could have saved herself a lot of mental strife and all that stuff, because she said she had a mental break, because then that's when black publications and media and all this stuff started coming out and saying things about her. And she was like, I've never even did anything with these people. This is what she was saying in the interview, and this is what she later put out when right before we synced this. This was the incident before this interview came out, where she literally got on camera and, you know, she was snapping off, and you could tell that she was having a little mental break or whatever. But at the same time, I was like, you know, I feel for you, but you cannot put something out so openly and not expect a backlash, like not necessarily a backlash, but not expect people to give you the truth or how they feel. Like, you're gonna get positive things and you're gonna get negative things. Unfortunately for her, I feel like the reason why she kind of snapped off was because it was a lot more negativity coming from probably sources that she actually respected and didn't realize that these people felt that way about her. And so, yeah, but again, you post it to the public, and of course, you know, people want to come on and do and say, you know, sometimes people just do things just to do things and just to bandwagon, and they ain't really got no issue. They just doing it because the main public do it. Like I said, I don't have a real issue with Amanda Seales. I just think that she's exhausting sometimes. That's it. And then and with that, it do comes, and some people can say that she has like a victim mentality. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, I don't know if that's the case. I'm not going to put that out there, but I'm saying what people have said. All right. And so you get to this Amanda Seales video interview with Shannon Sharpe. And as soon as I seen that Shannon Sharpe was going to be doing this, I said, oh my God, this is not going to go the way that I think it's going to go. because I feel how you want to feel about Amanda Seales, and I'm gonna be careful about, bamming things on my desk, on my table, or whatever, because somebody said when I had dropped that phone the last time, it had was real loud, and I apologize. Girl, I'm trying to get used to the mic, okay? I'm trying to get used to the mic and the sound, trying to adjust it, so bear with me, baby. We trying to elevate over here. We trying to work out some kinks. But anyway, girl, when she said that, all I'm gonna say is, you can like Amanda Seales or you cannot like Amanda Seales. And that's the thing. I'm going to need to tell people this. I need people to understand. And I just don't know where this came from, where people all of a sudden don't realize that everybody is not going to like everybody that you like or agree with everything that you agree with. Or, everybody has differences of opinions, right? And it doesn't necessarily mean that it's groupthink or that you're trying to be different or you're trying to be bandwagon or whatever. Some people could be doing that, but there are a lot of people that literally, because then you try to make it seem like we're dumb, like people are stupid and they can't think for themselves and they can't form opinions for themselves. People can form the opinions for themselves, and it is okay if a person does not like a certain person, if a person does not mesh well with a certain person. It is fine. If you like them, it is a-okay, and it is okay for another person not to like them. You know what I'm saying? But you don't have to be nasty with your dislike or whatever, And I just feel like people don't understand that in this day and age. People really don't understand that you don't have to always like everybody that everybody likes. You know what I'm saying? And it's not for you trying to be different. It's just that they don't mesh well. That's just not your cup of tea. And it is okay. It is okay. All right? And don't make them a bad person. It just means that you don't mesh with them, But I have to give props to Amanda Seales because, baby girl, you sat and you did a 3-hour and 10-minute interview with Shannon Sharpe. And the thing of it is, I watched the Cat Williams video and I didn't think much about it. That was the first time I had ever seen a full interview from Shannon Sharpe. And I remember once I was looking at it, I said, I think I tweeted it. I'm kid you not. I said, is this how he really speaks? Is this how he really speaks? No shade, and I don't know. It was something about it that just turned me off a little bit. But then, I have to put in there that, he is, from the South, whatever. But that just really wasn't what it was. It's like he was trying to sound like he knew what he was talking about, but he really didn't know what he was talking about. And then I heard it again with the Monique interview. I thought, maybe it was just in this one. And then I see it in the Monique interview. And I was just like, no. And so when I found out that he was finna do this interview with Amanda Seales, I said, oh, this ain't gonna go the way that I think it's gonna go. Baby, Amanda Seales is better than me because Ashley would have left that interview probably 3 minutes into it. Well, actually 5 minutes, because that's where the first incident happened for me. But then it got 20 minutes into it, and then I said, you know what? You have got to be kidding me. Okay. But once you get past that, for the most part, the interview was a good interview. Okay. You get to see where she's coming from. You get to see her background. You hear her background. You hear her experiences and everything. And I do know that some people still don't like it. I'm not going to be one of those people that's just going to be like hating just to hate. No, it wasn't a bad interview. It wasn't a bad interview. You know what I'm saying? I can see that, she probably was coming off a little harsh, if you want to say that. People can say tone and all that stuff, but the bitch been going through a whole bunch of stuff, so I can understand. And then you had to sit there with all of that shit that you was with Shannon Sharpe the whole time. I'm thinking, now Amanda, it's a lot of people out here with podcasts. Maybe not as big as a platform as a Shannon Sharpe, because he's been getting all of this notoriety ever since the Cat Williams situation, right? But you mean to tell me she couldn't find somebody else that was at least somewhere close to her intellectual level, or someone who has real experience in journalism, who could put aside their biases and just sit down and have a one-on-one conversation, real interview with her. You mean to tell me it was nobody that could do this? And I guess people come to Cat Williams, Shannon Sharpe's platform because, you know, they can say whatever they need to say to get off their chest. But at the same time, you got to be able to keep up with people, and you have to do your freaking research, because at one point it started looking like the Breakfast Club, okay? And y'all know how I feel about the Breakfast Club. They don't do their research. And then to make it seem like you do have researchers, and then you still, if you have researchers on staff that's giving you all this information or whatever, how come you still getting the information wrong? But what's wrong with your researchers? Okay, like that was just a lot. But like I said, she was better than me, because I would have walked out 20 minutes into that interview. Baby, soon as the interview started, it was all pleasantries or whatever, you know. And then she trying to explain her upbringing and, you know, something of she was trying to explain something. While she's in, mind you, she was asked the question. While she's in the process of explaining it and, you know, answering that question, she couldn't even get the full thought completely out before Shannon interrupted her. And then once she gave her comment, her response back, he was like, so that's how you feel, for real? It was very condescending. Like, for real. I said that's what she feels, and that's how she felt, and that's what she went through. That was one. That was 5 minutes and 30 seconds into the interview. Baby, then we get like between 18 19 minutes into the interview, and we start talking about her experience of, you know, because this is what was the clip that was making its round. These couple of clips was making its rounds before people actually watched the whole thing. Talking about her experience being in school and how, you know, she just was that type of person who just, you know, very attentive. And she, for the most part, she can't understand why people say that she's a mean girl or that they don't like her, when she was the one that stood up for people and all this stuff or whatever. You know, people have their different perception of people. That's just what it is, right? So she giving her experience about how, you know, she was a good student and she was in Florida going to high school and all this stuff, and you got a teacher, you know, she almost got suspended or whatever, got her parent-teacher conference happening because the teacher didn't like the fact that Amanda corrected her. And you know, about some Aboriginals, you know what I'm saying? The Aboriginals, whichever, you know, text it is, right? And basically what she was saying was that, the teacher basically was saying that these Aborigines are extinct. They back in the Stone Age. And Amanda Seales was like, no, teach, they're not. They're still very much here. And the teacher didn't like that, okay? And, you know, so of course, they called a parent-teacher conference and made it seem as if it was really a big deal. And even her parents and the people that also was in the room was just like, so you called a conference just because you was in your feelings that this child, I guess, corrected you? Baby, you putting out misinformation and you are in your feelings because the child corrected you in front of the class. Well, I mean, you should do your research. And this was back then, and like she said, it's Florida. She was chalking it up to race, okay? And you know, I feel like some people don't like Amanda Seales because she always equate things to race or whatever. But in some instances, when she does it, it is 100% valid. And I feel like that experience was valid. Because why would you put out a bold misinformation, a bold statement that was false like that? It's still Aborigines and Aboriginals, whichever word you prefer. It's still, they're still very much here, okay? They're still very much here. Even back then in 1980s, 1990s and stuff like that. I'm just sitting here like, girl, I would have did the same thing too. Right? Because one thing about it is you can't. That's how come we got so much misinformation now, because people don't speak up and say things or whatever. They just let things go about, you know what I'm saying, and people take it as fact. But you have to have somebody that's going to stand up and that's going to say something. And then you have Shannon Sharpe talking about, well, do you think if it was a white kid that she probably would have had the same response? Amanda was like, I was the only black kid there. Okay, like, come on. And he was like, but what I'm trying to say is, do you really think that it's a race thing? Because I'm just saying that, the teachers, they really don't like it when, you have kids trying to, correct them in front of the class. And I was brought up where you're supposed to not talk back to your elders and all this stuff. Baby, I don't want to say it was giving cool, but it was giving very much. I don't know if he was trying to be a devil's advocate or whatever, or a see both sides type of situation. And in this case, it just really wasn't that. Given where it's from and where she was at, and then the time period and what the teacher was putting out there. No. Then we get to the part about when she goes into on Disney or Nickelodeon's, whichever one, she started acting, and when she first gets on the set, and you have kids that are saying racist things to her, and he's like, well, do you think that the kids really are racist? And it's not just the parents, because can a kid really be racist? They just going off of what their parents are saying. They don't know no better. And she like, well, if I'm this age and the age that they are, and I can realize what they're saying is racist, and I feel some type of way, how come they can't realize what they're saying is racist? I'm sitting here like, I cannot believe Shannon Sharpe literally said that. I cannot believe he said that. It was just like, I was like, what? There are children that can be racist and are racist, unfortunately, because it is taught. I have literally seen so many videos, especially that came up when Donald Trump came into office, or, even now, where you see people are proudly putting out there that they're teaching their kids this rhetoric to hate. Literally, this woman put up a video of her baby, and when I say baby, the baby was barely even probably 6 months old, and made a noise and made some little gibberish, and it sounded like the baby said the N-word, the full N-word, right? And she posted and said, oh, my baby first word is the N-word, and I'm so happy, we're so proud. And I mean, she was proud about it. A white woman. She was racist anyway. You know what I'm saying? Like, so you can tell that it's hate. Hate is taught. These kids know what's up. Kids, and I just need adults, and I need people to understand, kids are not dumb. You can try to act like they don't know what's going on and they can't understand. These kids know exactly what's going on, okay? They know. These kids know right from wrong, and come on, quit trying to make them minimize it, all right? And he was just doing this back and forth, and at that moment, I was like, Amanda, get the fuck up and leave. And then I had to look at the thing, and I said, no, she ain't gonna leave, because it's 3 hours. It's 3 hours and 10 minutes, girl. And I was just like, child. And honestly, I ain't even watched the full thing. I think I got like, let me see, because I just wanted to get on here and do this video so I can eat. I got 20 more minutes left, okay? I do know once the thing started off and she cussed out Emmanuel Ocho or whatever, I don't like him either. The whole thing about the Angel Reese thing, his rhetoric about her, talk about her crime, all that stuff. The way that they try to vilify her, and it's like a pile on. It's a pile on, and it's like you wouldn't do that to another person. They not doing it to, any other white player. They putting her out there, and it just felt unjust. It felt cruel, and it felt like you wasn't protecting her. You can critique a person, but you didn't have to do and say the stuff. But he has always just been, like she said, that good black person that is easy and can get along with the whites, that the whites will like. You have those. He is that. And mind you, I just never liked the way he speaks about African Americans and their experiences, and how, he claims he never experienced certain things because he didn't grow up with that, because he, he's Nigerian or something like that. Girl, it was a lie. It was a lie. And see, that plays into, and I hate this because it plays into the diaspora debate. And I don't like that, because we should all just be together. but it's always a division. Currently, right now on TikTok, there's a division about, British black people not being as cultured, as having no culture, and them looking down on African Americans and all of this stuff. It's so weird, and it's so effed up that we are still having this conversation, and you are platforming people who think that are doing more harm to the communities on both sides than they are doing good, because they're trying to appease white people. And that's exactly what he doing, So I was very much here for when she cussed him out about that. But yeah, Shannon, I said he is not in his lane. He is so out of his depth with this. I said she is about to chew him up. She is about to chew him up. Okay, I would have felt so, and then what she said on her live or whatever, that it was way more that they cut out that he said on that. And I said, oh, so it must have been bad. It must have been bad. But then we get a little bit into it again. She mentions that, she was autistic. She found out a couple of years or whatever recently that she's autistic. She's on the spectrum, right? And, some of the things that she was saying, it would, she was making justification to try to say, yeah, so this is why I did this. And I understand now why I was so fixated on this and why I was doing stimming and all this stuff, whatever. And I was like, oh, okay, and once she put it that way, I was like, well, I can kind of get it now. You know what I'm saying? Why you come across some people the way that you do. And even to me sometimes, right? Okay. Only for her to get on her live after the interview and to say that she was not diagnosed clinically. She self-diagnosed herself, and she said, I don't need to go to spend $10,000 to get a diagnosis. And I was just like, what? I didn't know that you could do that. And I said, girl, see, this is the thing. People were literally on her side and coming over and getting a better understanding to Amanda Steele. And then this clip comes out from her live where she basically said that, because it's very much plausible. It's very much plausible that she could be autistic or whatever. But to self-diagnose yourself with something like that, that's not something that you should play with. That's not something that you should do. You should have a confirmed clinical diagnosis. I don't care if you went to a psychiatrist or whatever. You need to get clinically diagnosed that this is what's going on. Just because you're going to therapy and all this stuff, have you been clinically diagnosed that this is what's happening to you? Did you go through the test? Did you go through this? Did you go through that? If you did not, you cannot diagnose yourself with some of these things, because it is literally like, come on, because sometimes, like some people will say, it could be just narcissism. You're like this because you're just a narcissist, okay? Or it could be something else. You just don't know. And it was given very much once she put that out there that, she self-diagnosed herself. What you went on webmd.com, like, girl, and I ain't above it, because baby, I will Google something in a minute, okay? And I have said, oh, maybe I got this, maybe I got that, but I haven't gone to the doctor to actually get it checked out. And I really do feel like, honestly, I do feel like that there are a lot more adults that are out here, especially black adults, who have a lot more mental illnesses or mental health issues that have been not diagnosed because we have not gone to the doctor and nobody has taken us serious or whatever. Like, I just feel like that. I feel like that. So it's a possibility that she could have it, but you can't just put it out there when you have not been clinically diagnosed, okay? And then you have people coming out saying you're talking about it's $10,000 and all this stuff, whatever, when it's really not that much. It is a lot, but it's not up there, and plus with insurance, if you have insurance and all that stuff, it'll take care of it for the most part. But I just was like, girl, I wish you wouldn't have said that, because people was on your side. Now people are doubting you again, and I was just like, damn. Okay, but I'm finna speed through some stuff, like, because most of the stuff was background, like where she came from. When Shannon Sharpe, after that whole conversation about whether or not the kids can be racist and all this stuff, and she had to get him together, because basically what you're trying to say is, because you didn't go through this, or that wasn't your experience, that it's the same as her experience, so therefore she has to be lying. No. What she experienced is what she experienced, okay? And I really don't feel like Amanda is gonna lie about that experience, okay? She just don't give me that, right? She may put a little bit on, but I don't feel like she will lie about experiencing some of these things, right? He said, okay, well, anyway, your mother is white, right? Amanda said no. And he was like, I mean, but your daddy white too, or something like that. It was like, no, my father is not white. My mother is not white. My mother is from Grenada. Now, let me tell you something. The first time, I never even knew Grenada was in the West. Because he said, but your mother is from, like, the West Indies. And I said, the Caribbeans, for the most part, when I think of the Caribbeans or the West Indies, whichever one you want to call it, I think of black folks. Now, when she said her mother was Grenadian, I said, bitch, that woman is black. Because the only other Grenadian that I know is Yvette, Beyonce's publicist. And she always over there in Grenada. And they black as hell over there. And I said, what the fuck? Let me tell you something. I know it's some white folks over there in the West Indies and all that stuff. I get it. And I hope I'm not offending depending on which words to say to the people that's from there. But when I think about the West Indies, the Caribbean, I think about black folks. Even when it comes to like Puerto Ricans and Dominicans and the Cubans and all that stuff, I think of Afro-Latinos. I know it's, others, but that's what instantly comes to my mind. I think about black, okay? So for instantly to say that your mama is white is because what? She light skinned? I said, child, no. And he was like, but you said your aunt. No, she said my aunt married a white man, and that's when we start doing white people stuff. I said, God damn, you sitting there right in front of her and you can't hear? It was a lie. I just said, oh my goodness, what is going on? What is happening? Then the other big thing that was going on was this whole situation when she get into the whole issue when she got kicked out that Black Emmy party. We remember when that happened and all of that, and then how basically not really any other cast members from Insecure stood up for her. We remember when Sharonis came out talking down about her, and then you got this shit that's going on. And I think it's really fucked up because if what she says is true, and I'm gonna take it as true, how she had his back and was trying to look out for him when they was on the set, when they found out that he had got Dominique Perry, who played Tasha, the bank chick, on Insecure, pregnant. And how he was trying to deny, allegedly people were saying that he was trying to deny the baby. And, she went up to him and told him what people were saying behind his back. She was having his back, only for him not to have her back. I said, you know what? And we see how he turned out. It still fucks Sharonis all day and his brother. You know what I'm saying? So it checks, But, I remember when that whole situation happened, and I feel bad for her. After listening to what she said, I really do feel bad for her, because all it takes, especially if you are in a certain type of business, a certain type of industry, and we've seen how easy it is for certain people, or especially our own, to get blackballed, to get blacklisted in like the music business, to get blacklisted in, the entertainment business. And for that whole incident where she got kicked out that party that she was invited to, but she got escorted out just because Issa Rae's publicist did not like her, and went on a smear campaign about it, and wasn't even telling the media and the public or whatever the truthfulness about it, which in turns made deals that she had on the table get dropped, interviews that she was about to have get dropped, people, speaking engagements and stuff that she had get canceled because of that. That's fucked up. And to find out that she was personally invited by Jesse Williams, the actual host of the party, who the party was, Elijah. What's his name? I think it's the dude from Elijah. What's his name? Elijah. I can't. Y'all remember him from New Edition? Y'all know the New Edition movie. He came out there and he was trying to bring her in. He brought her in because it's his party, and he said that you could come in there. And yet you, because you don't like her, you wanna, and it ain't even your fucking party, and you don't like this person, so therefore you're going to get her escorted out. That's fucked up. That's fucked up. And I just want to know where Miss Vanessa is to this day. Like, is she still working with Issa Rae? Now, let me tell you something. And I know people... Let me tell you something. Y'all know I love me some Issa Rae. I love Issa Rae. I like her work ethic in everything. I just like how her come up came, from off of YouTube, and now she's this big person right about now. But that does not mean that everybody is just this perfect person or whatever. You can like a person and you can call them out when they do F stuff, okay? Because at the end of the day, no one is perfect, and ain't nobody gonna have this perfect pedigree about not pissing off this person or that person. They'll probably piss off somebody and didn't even know that they did, okay? But in this instant, I'm pretty sure she's well aware of what went down and how it went down. At one point, Amanda was talking about how something came up and, Issa didn't intervene in it because she said, that's y'all grown folks. Y'all gotta fix that. I ain't got nothing to do with it, right? But then when this whole situation with this party come up, you want Amanda to talk to Vanessa about it? Why you want to intervene now? I was with her when she said that, when you couldn't do it before, right? And people were feeling some type of way about the fact that Amanda was putting out her experience with Issa and saying that, Issa's about empowering people, empowering women, but she did not empower her, and she was trying to protect Issa for a while before she put this out here, but she did not feel empowered or welcome on that show. People didn't like her just because they didn't like her, and it was like, what did I do to you, right? And if that's the case, and if that's her experience, I cannot invalidate that just because I like Issa Rae. It's not going to make me stop liking Issa Rae, but it's going to tell me, Issa, you fucked up for that. If that's the case, you are fucked up for that. No one is above approach. No one is above being called out, because sometimes you have to call people out so that they can realize what they're doing is not right. Now, if that's her experience, that is her experience. And we can't invalidate that because we were not there. We're not her. And we can't tell her what she felt in that moment. If she felt like she didn't have her back and she wasn't being empowered enough, or that she wasn't being protected, or that the people was acting like they had an issue with her for no fucking reason and she didn't feel safe and all this stuff, that's her experience, okay? And I can't invalidate that because that's her experience. All right? And if that's happened, and people have been putting things out and saying, yeah, Issa could do this and Issa could do that, Issa, you have to look into yourself and you have to see what's going on, okay? Because that's not right. That's not right. But on the other hand, I can get it at the same time. Like, y'all two grown people, y'all can talk this shit out yourself. I shouldn't have to intervene. But if it's your workplace, and if it's people that's working for you directly, I think you should intervene. So I'm not mad. I mean, like I said, it's not going to make me dislike Issa, but it's going to make me side-eye. But at the same time, I'm not mad at Amanda for putting this out there. If it's her experience, it's her experience. This is why we do interviews, and it's 3 hours long. What you thought, that she wasn't going to say nothing? All in all, because I did not expect to talk about this goddamn thing. It was 3 hours long, and it's basically all that we really want to talk about. And I'm not going to cut this down. Basically, girl, listen. If you have time, sit and watch it. For the most part, it's a good interview. I don't know if it's going to change your opinion of Amanda Seales, because it necessarily did not change my opinion of her. It just made me understand her a little bit more. You know what I'm saying? But, it's insightful. Check it out. Y'all tell me just don't get Shannon Sharpe. Oh my God. He just was the worst. He was the worst. Anyway, off that, y'all tell me, put your opinions down in the comments. And again, we can agree to disagree. We don't have to disrespect each other. And again, some people can like and people can dislike, and it's okay. It is okay. I need y'all to understand that. Let's get into this whole Chris Brown Quavo situation before. Girl, Chris Brown and Quavo, let me tell you this. Quavo, how you let a singing nigga out rap you and out dish you? Okay, I ain't even finna spend too much time on this, but all of this is over a woman that neither one of y'all are with. Now, I can understand that. I don't know the history between Chris Brown and Quavo. I didn't bother to go look, because I really don't care. Because I feel like this is just beyond dumb, okay? To be arguing and fighting over a woman. If that is what it is, I really hope it's something deeper than that, okay? I don't know if they were really friends, like friends or whatever. And then Chris Brown felt like Quavo broke the bro code or whatever by going and trying to date his ex Karuchi and all of that. But at the same time, this is an ex that you literally physically abused, according to her, that she had her, and we saw some of the stuff that you was doing. You wouldn't leave the girl alone. She had to get a restraining order against you. You know what I'm saying? And now you're beefing because somebody else got with her, and I guess because you knew him, and you probably felt like, bro, you shouldn't have did that because you know that was my old thing, your old thing that you didn't treat right at all. I get it, but at the same time, to have this vengeance and this hate to keep going for all these years, it's just ridiculous, okay? But I will say, when Chris Brown put out Weakest Link, Quavo, you were the weakest link. I don't know how many rounds this going. You know, I know Chris did say that after Quavo put his little diss out, it don't even deserve a response. But if it do, baby, honestly, he is correct. He correct. Now, y'all tell me in the comments, which one did y'all like better? Chris Brown or Quavo? Now, Chris Brown, you know, I know people were saying, oh, he was doing too much. He stepped over the line and all that stuff, especially when he said the whole line about, you know, Takeoff. Everybody wished it was you that died instead of Takeoff and all that stuff. I don't think he went too far. Because this is hip hop. I mean, if y'all okay with Nicki saying, you know, lying on your dead mama and all this stuff and talking about Megan's, and I honestly, it was jarring. But it's hip hop. That's what you do when you diss. Okay, it was fucked up. But I mean, hey, it is what it is. Ain't no fucking rules. Ain't no limits. Ain't no ain't no boundaries at this point, right? Cause y'all wouldn't be able to stand it if y'all was around for the beats back in the day. And I'm not talking about these 2010s, 2020 beats. I'm talking about the 80s. I'm talking about the 90s. I'm talking, girl, them motherfuckers was going in on each other early 2000s. Baby Nas and Jay-Z for sure, okay? When Jay-Z said he skeeted on Nas' baby's car seat, girl, what? What? Girl, ain't nobody, no. They used to go ham on each other, okay? But, you know, that happened, and then Quavo come out and they bring it up. You know, Chris Brown brought up how, you know, he was fucking Sweetie while Quavo was still with her. And then, you know, Quavo saying, oh, you punched, using Rihanna as a punching bag, you punched her in the face, and, you know, your auntie got tied up because you didn't pay your dues, your gang dues and all this stuff, and all of this other shit, right? Call him a crackhead looking Michael Jackson. Now on that part, baby, I was just like, wow. Because no, listen, y'all gotta understand, y'all know it was some pictures and it was a time out there that Chris was looking very unhealthy. Chris was looking very cracked out. Y'all have to understand that, okay? We have to get into that, you know what I'm saying? But you know, even with that, I was just like, oh, Quavo, this ain't nothing. I just really wasn't moved by it. You know what I'm saying? Because it was like you throwing out a whole bunch of stuff that we didn't already heard, people didn't already said, people didn't already dissed him about it, whatever. It felt old to me. It felt dated. The only thing that I got a key off of, which I said, oh, shit, this kind of fucked up. But, and I was like, well, oh, he went there, was the cover to the song. Y'all remember that picture that came out that they was trying to say that, you know, Chris was choking that girl out or whatever, but then they said that he was playing, they was playing, and then the next picture was showing that they were laughing. Okay, he took the picture of Chris choking that girl, and he took his face and put it on Chris' face, and put Chris' face on the girl, so it's him choking him out. I said, but Chris really choked you out. I'm sorry. And then we get into that kind of got a little bit overshadowed by the fact that Jill Scott decided to get on Twitter early in the morning. And when I say early in the morning, baby, the majority of us wasn't even woke yet. We probably had at least an hour and a half until it was ready for us to get up. Okay, she is up on Twitter basically saying how, she was giving Chris Brown his props. Saying he's a good guy and people make mistakes. It was something like that, right? And, he's very talented. He's a wordsmith and all this stuff and woo. And, basically put it as if you shouldn't be saying nothing about him. It is what it is. People make mistakes and we need to just let shit go. And I said, because when I woke up and I seen what people were saying, because it's scary, was like, baby, they're about to tear Jill Scott's ass up. Shea Butter Twitter is about to tear her ass up. And I was like, what the fuck did Jill Scott do? So I go to her Twitter and I read the tweet and I had retweeted it and I was like, oh. And then, I was like, what else do you expect? Okay. Sometimes I'm at this point where a lot of stuff does not surprise me these days about what certain people say and do, and especially given the age and the period of where they come from. Yeah, okay. A lot of these neo soul girls are just like Jill Scott, Erykah Badu. All of them are just like very pro men, and that's fine if you're gonna be, all about the man. But you have to be able to hold people accountable for things and not try to erase what they've done. But at the same time, I get where she's trying to come from, but it was just weird where she's. It's weird that she came out early in the morning and interjected in there, and I just was like, girl, baby, they talking about how this man is an abuser and all this stuff, and you want to come out and try to say that, he is this creative person and he's such a good person and a good talent and all this stuff. Two things can be true at the same time, okay? And I think that's what she was trying to get to, but it just didn't come out right, and it just really wasn't needed in this moment, because, I think what people really were upset at was really her response. Because even I said, if she had. Because somebody said, I don't think the people that he abused, the women that he abused would feel that way. And she was like, I don't think so. Basically was like, she literally said one tweet that had really everybody in a tizzy, where she said, well, my mother was with this man, and he was abusive to her, and we had to escape that situation. But he also could lay some cement. And he did a damn good job at it. But that don't take away from the fact that, he may be abusive, but he was good at his job. I said, oh my God, Scott, Jill, no. Okay? And I'm just so tired of having this discussion about Chris Brown. Okay? We get it. People are not going to not like him, and everybody has to understand that, regardless of if I like him or not. Do I like him the way that I used to like him when he first came out? Absolutely not. Okay? But have I completely written him off? I'm not going to sit here and say that I have. No, I have not. Okay? But at the same time, I am not blind to what he has done. I will never sit up here and make excuses for it. And I'm not going to deny that he's a talented person. But I'm not going to deny that he beat bitches' ass, okay? He used to beat bitches' ass and probably still... I'm not going to say that he still do, because I don't know. But he has had multiple instances and multiple women who have said that. Not just Rihanna from what we saw. Like, come on, okay? And I need people to understand that. But I also need people to understand that, how many times we're going to put that out there? We know that. And you keep on putting it out there and reminding the people as if they don't know, it's not doing anything for the cause that you're trying to do. I don't know if you're trying to get people not to like him. It's just not going to work. If it hasn't worked all these years, it's not going to work. They didn't dislike him. Well, they was upset at him when he did the whole first thing. And then he got into the other stuff. And then he got into the other stuff. And then he got into the drug stuff. Then he got into the gang stuff. And then he got into some more trouble. And then he got into some more trouble. And then he had kids and all that stuff, whatever. And people still love him. He has a hardcore, die-hard stand base. And people are not going to dislike this man the way that you want people to. It's like people want him to be ostracized and people to turn their back on him just like they did, I guess, R. Kelly. And there are people that still very much love R. Kelly and still very much, listen to R. Kelly. I'm not saying that it's wrong. I'm not saying that it's right. But I'm just saying we have to be reasonable, and if a person want to listen to who they want to listen to and they want to take up for who they want to take up, at this point, you just got to let them. Now, if your moral compass is telling you to fuck that nigga, meaning like, I don't give a fuck about him, then that's good for you. Because I would never make excuses for what he has done. Bitch, when Quavo said, and that's why Usher had to, you wanted to beat Tiana ass, and that's why Usher had to stop you or whatever, intervene, because y'all remember when they said that Usher and Chris Brown got into that fight, and Tiana was involved in it. I said, oh shit, but we knew that. We knew that. They never really confirmed it, nor denied it, but we knew that. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, it's like, we get it. We get it. How many times are we going to put it out there? Because it's not changing anybody's mind. Okay? I don't like what he did. I don't like a lot of the things that he's done. But I'm not going to be like, oh, y'all can't listen to him or whatever. But if some shit come out, I'm going to definitely say some shit. Because when he put that line in there talking about, so you want to talk about me being an abuser and your ass, we seen what you did to Sweetie in the video in that elevator. I literally tweeted, wow. It's so wild that an abuser is trying to accuse another alleged abuser of being an abuser. I said, this is crazy. Y'all having an abuse standoff? Like, what? Is this the abuse Olympics? I don't know, y'all. It was much. I just felt like Jill Scott just never should have said anything. It's just like when Erykah Badu was trying to take up for R. Kelly and all them and all. I don't know. It's just too much. Y'all tell me how y'all feel. I know it's going to be a difference of opinions in the comments, but y'all tell me how y'all feel about it. Ooh, hold on. Woo, I'm back. Y'all, I had to pee so bad. That's why I was sitting up here doing all this. I just didn't want to lose my thoughts. I had to finish it out. But anyway, yeah, y'all tell me how y'all felt about that. This whole situation with Megan. Girl, I seen that and I said, what? I said, oh my God, you mean to tell me we went through all this and then Megan, you finna be out here being sued or whatever for, and this is what we go to, and then she even mentioned this in her song, how people be putting out salacious headlines that are not true just to get people to talk. But here's the thing. Megan is getting sued because when I first saw it, they were trying to say Megan was getting sued for harassment. Well, and having sexual activities, forcing somebody to basically partake or watch her engage in sexual activities and stuff like that. And I was like, damn, that's kind of fucked up. No, that is fucked up, okay? And see, again, I was very much prepared to come on here and to basically call it out, because I don't care if I like you or not. I don't care. If you doing some fucked up shit, you need to be called out on it, regardless, right? So I'm looking at it and see, this is why you cannot just read headlines and all of that. You have to read the actual things that's going on with it. And it's her old photographer, ex-photographer / ex-friend, Emilio Garcia, that's basically not suing for sexual harassment, not suing for anything that the headlines have put out there, right? Suing because he got fired from her, let go from her, they're no longer friends, they're no longer working with each other, and he want unpaid wages and stuff like that. It's a money issue, okay? It's an employment money issue, and he feels like he was owed money that he never got. That is what he's suing her for. But within the lawsuit, he did put up in there that, she had incident where they was in Ibiza in like 2022, June 2022. And there was this one occasion where she came back in the car with these girls, and she wound up having sex with these girls in the car, and he was there too. And, first he said he felt like, oh my God, what am I doing here? He felt uncomfortable. He was disgusted, all of that stuff, whatever. Understandable if that's not your cup of tea. Mind you, that's kind of fucked up, right? I was ready to go in. But then in the same breath, he made it seem as if she told him to stay and forced him to stay in the car. But then the next day asked if he saw anything Or was it like she was confused, like, oh, you was in the car, did you see anything? She didn't even know, and you put it out there too, and I'm sitting here like, so which one is it? Did she tell you to stay in the car, or did she not know that you was in the car? Because you saying both. And I'm just like, you got to get your story straight. Whichever version it is, you have to get it straight. It's not for sexual harassment or anything like that. It's for money and unemployment. Money that's garnered to her, or they feel like it's, supposed to have been owed to them. Honestly, I'm going to tell you this. And I've gotten on Megan about this before. Megan has a issue. Here's the thing. I didn't even know that guy was working with her. I didn't know he was her photographer at the time. I used to see him on her Instagram, on her IG stories. He was always at her house, like sleeping over and all that stuff. I literally just thought they was friends, okay? And he just randomly popped up one day, and he just never went away. And then we didn't see him, and I just realized I haven't been seeing him on the Instagram or whatever for a minute. And so now we know why. They're no longer friends. They're no longer employees and all that stuff, whatever. And here's the thing. And I get that, Megan went through a time period and is probably still going through that time period where, she's just letting any and everybody in her circle because, she don't have anybody. Her parents are gone. Her grandmother is gone. All of that. So she was going through a time of depression and all that stuff or whatever. I understand that. But, baby girl, you are in a business, okay? You are a big commodity. You are a major person out there in the industry, right? You cannot befriend everybody. I don't care what the situation is. You cannot befriend everybody. If you are hiring somebody to work for you, let that just be that. Let that just be that. And you have got to stop doing it. Like, everybody is not your friend. People try to come in to do things or whatever to catch you up, and then you get caught up and you get in situations like this. Okay? Everybody is not your friend. Quit crossing the line and quit. You can't be continuously mixing business with pleasure. There are some people that do make organic friendships with people that they work with, but then it's the way that they come together and all of that. But from what I was told, he was a bona fide fan. That's what it was. That just got a chance to work with her and then got a chance to get into her inner circle. I don't know how true that is, but it just doesn't look good that you are befriending these people who are the people that you're supposed to work with, and then all of a sudden they're falling out. But it also don't look good for him because you're trying to say that she has a toxic workplace, she called you fat and all this stuff, whatever. That could possibly have happened. I don't put nothing besides or beyond nobody. But at the same time, it's like nobody else has come out and said anything who has worked with her, said anything negative about her. You know what I'm saying? If the workplace was that toxic. But then again, that's his experience, so he says. So I can't invalidate that, right? But at the same time, Megan, you have to take some responsibility for this, because if you owe that person money, give them the fucking money and let this be done with. Again, quit blurring the lines of trying to have somebody work for you and then wanting them to be your friend, or letting them get close enough to them so they can think that they're your friend, only for them to snake you or do other things. You know what I'm saying? You wouldn't be in this situation. And I need people to stop going into things with celebrities thinking that I'm going to get this job and I'm going to be buddy buddies with them. No, you are there to do a fucking job. There's no reason why you need to be kicking it at their crib when you're not working or whatever. You know what I'm saying? You don't need to be doing all of that, in my honest opinion, so that none of this stuff will happen. Okay? That's all I got on it. That's all I got on it. Pay the fucking man his money. That's it. Jenny fucking my bitch. Jenny Ma accused young Jeezy of abuse. I said, whoa. That escalated quickly, and she named 4 different occasions where it happened. And then, it was some pictures released of, her having some bruises on her, whatever, and she was having a text conversation with Jeezy. Jeezy come out and said she's lying. Those pictures and whatever, those injuries came from when they had a accident in a golf court or whatever cart, and they both was injured. But if you actually read what was said, she named that was one incident, and she said that he crashed that golf cart on purpose because either he was drunk and he was pissed off at her, and he did it on purpose. So that is a form of abuse. Okay. Another one where he basically was getting upset that she had went to the bathroom at some event with her friend, and he didn't know, and he got pissed off and wanted them to leave the event early, get into the car, yoke her up, slap her up, whatever. Did that a couple of times. And then the one that really disgusted me was she said he attacked her 3 weeks after she gave birth. You can tell how you feel about Jeannie Mai, because I probably feel the same way. But one thing about it, two things for sure. I'm not here for abuse, okay, of any kind. I'm not here for abuse of any kind. And I'm going to tell you this, and I'm going to be real. I honestly was not surprised by this revelation. And then they put up in the article that this ain't the first time that he has been accused of being abusive. And he was being accused of being abusive to like one of his kids back in the day. And I was just like, oh. And I don't like to see the comments of, well, he should have stayed with a black woman. This is what he get. I don't feel sorry for him because he went with this woman or whatever. Because like what? What does that mean? Yes, we know what Jeannie Mai said. We know what she said about liking her like me, married to unlike me, then having her dark meat on the side. We know what she said about that, right? But at the same time, to say that you don't feel sorry for him, or mainly her, because that's what he get for being with her or whatever, it's like, okay, so if he was with a black woman and he did the same thing, you gonna say the same thing? Like, abuse is abuse no matter who you with. And it ain't got nothing to do with the color. Like, if it's in a nigga to abuse a person, that person's gonna do it. So quit that rhetoric. Like, it's just put it out there that he's messed up. All right. And all of this stuff that he was doing for this book tour and, cozying up to Nia Long and all this stuff, it was all a front. It was all a front to make him look appeasing to the public, to certain type of people, to buy his book and stuff, to change his image. You never know what's going on behind closed doors. And then you're probably going to get people to say, oh, so now you want to come out and say that he was abusive, but yet you're acting surprised that he was getting divorced and all this stuff and woo. Y'all don't understand till this day that that's how fucking abuse happens sometimes. There are more incidents than not where the abusee will stay with the abuser longer than they need to and endure it. Y'all don't know that by now? Like, come on. But y'all tell me how y'all feel about that. Neo. I'm gonna need Neo. Listen, something about Neo never really sat right with me. Okay. When Neo first hit the scene, I was not really that big of a fan. I can't even say I'm a fan now. Like, I don't dislike him because some of his music I do like. I do like the fact I would rather listen to the things that he wrote for other people and produced for other people than actually listen to Neo. He do have some songs that I will turn on in a minute and be like, okay, but I don't prefer his voice because I really don't feel like Neo is a singer like that. You know what I'm saying? You may feel like he can sing. In my opinion, he can carry a tune, but I would not call him a singer by my standards, right? And so I just felt like he had this narcissistic cockiness to him. All right. Ever since he came out, like, he think he's a dancer. He think he's like on Michael Jackson level. All the stuff, the facial expressions, and thinking like he this player type dude and everything until he take that hat off and we see that head. That type of situation, right? Something about him just always nagged at me. Then you get into this whole situation where he was married to Moneta, and then people was putting out there that he made her get her tubes tied so they couldn't have no more kids and all that, only to get with Crystal, where he was Crystal Smith, which he cheated on her with, and then they had more kids. Now, I don't know. I think they have debunked the fact that he made her get her tubes tied, Moneta, but it still don't look right, right? You get with Crystal because you cheated on your wife. You have kids with her, and not only do you cheat on your ex-wife, you're cheating on your current wife at the time, and y'all file for divorce, and then you drop the divorce, you do the vow renewal, and then the divorce comes back up, and now you're divorced, right? And so you got that going on, and then it comes out, you're talking about, you make comments about, like, you know, he the type of nigga that make comments about the LGBT and all that stuff and being about family and all that, but then you want to come out with the girlfriends. And on the one hand, I don't see nothing wrong with it because it's like he's single, he can do whatever he want to do. If you want to have multiple partners or whatever. But at the same time, it's like, it just looked like you're going through a midlife crisis or whatever. All of a sudden, you know what I'm saying? And it's like you're putting on the show and you're trying to prove something. I don't know what it is, right? And then all of a sudden, his other baby mother that he cheated on his current ex-wife with and had a baby with, she comes out with a video that she posted talking about how, you know, she said, you want to be like your little P. Diddy Jr., huh? With your little freak-offs? I said, girl, what? And they getting into it. She accused him of body slamming her. She accused him of bringing prostitutes and women over to the house when the kids is over there. Accused him of doing drugs and all of that. And it's just a whole mess. It's a whole mess. And honestly, I don't put anything past these people these days, okay? And it's like everybody in the situation is effed up. But at the same time, it's like, he gives me vibes that, yeah, like, you know, things just don't seem all the way right with Neo. I'm just going to be real with y'all. I don't know what it is. Something about him just never really, like, it just nagged at me, like, I don't know. I just feel like he put on a front or whatever. But it's just so crazy how ever since this whole Diddy situation came out, everybody is taking jabs or trying to use it against other people. And that whole phrase, no Diddy coming out, like, that's just weird. But it's crazy. But y'all, a lot of more people gonna get exposed. Somebody gonna ask me to talk about Jaguar Wright. I ain't got shit to say about her. Okay? And it's just so weird how people are latching on to every word that she is saying. I never watch an interview of her. I watch clips and stuff, right? That come across the timeline. That lady is mentally ill. And I'm not going to dedicate no time to her. Okay? I'm not going to dedicate any time to her. That lady is not well. And if anybody is taking her word for word, how do you know about all of this stuff that you claim that you know about? How are you in all of these circles and all this stuff? It don't make sense to me. Do I think that some of the things that she probably is saying is valid? Yeah, but for the most part, I think a lot of the shit is from mental illness. That's just all that it is. And I will never hold and say that she is a source to go to for any of the shit that's going on. Okay, like, no, I'm just not that girl. Moving on from that, Brian McKnight. Never in a million years did I ever think that we would be on here discussing anything of the negative kind about Brian McKnight the way that we have been. And him being this deadbeat dad, that's one thing, right? But the way that he's going about it, it's just like, what is happening with Brian McKnight? And at this point, I'm really concerned. Like, did he have a brain injury? Did something happen in his life or whatever? Is something going on with his current wife that has him thinking and saying the things that he's doing? Do he really mean this stuff? And I mean, at this point, we got to think that he really mean it, because why would you put it out publicly like that, right? It's really beyond messed up the way that he is talking and disregarding and disrespecting his children that he had prior to being with the wife that he is with now. I think that is truly fucked up. That's beyond fucked up. You know? These are your flesh and blood. And yes, there are times where parents and kids don't get along, they have their issues, but it never should come to a point where you literally talk so negatively about them and they really aren't really doing anything from what we can see, and to the level that he is saying it. Now, the current level that, you know, and then he make it seem as if he doesn't really count them. He doesn't count them. And we saw that previously. The way that, you know, he dotes over his current wife, children that aren't his stepkids, the way that he provides for them, the way that the kid that he just had with the wife, he named him Brian Jr. when he already named his other son Brian Jr. You're trying to erase your children, right? He literally, the latest thing is got on, I don't know, social media, IG or whatever. I don't know what he was on, but he literally called his kids, his 4 kids, prior to being into this relationship with the woman that he's in with now. He called his kids products of sin and evil. Do you know, as a person who has dealt with daddy issues, do you know how painful that is? Like, I'm literally going through the fact that I'm wrapping my head around that my father passed away, and I'm coming to terms with the fact that, oh, we probably didn't have a relationship because the nigga was homophobic. Okay, that's one thing. But then you got this on another level where your father is publicly denouncing you publicly because he's this big person. Well, he was. He ain't never as big as he thought he is. And he could have been. He could have been. Putting it out there that you are evil and products of sin. And basically, he don't want nothing to do with you. Then the ex-wife comes out and refutes all that. And then basically let us know that your son, Nico, is going through cancer. He's battling stage 4 cancer. And you are out here saying this shit, including him into that product of sin and evilness. That is beyond fucked up. I will make it so that, baby, I will sue you if you ever mention any inkling of me again. Because you clearly don't give a damn about me. You're clearly brainwashed or whatever is going on. And you just so bent on hurting us. So just shut the fuck up talking about us. And then he want to come out and say, because people was talking about the fact that how can you be saying all this when your son is going through what he's going through with his cancer battle. He said like 6 months ago or whatever, they found out that the son had stage 4 cancer, right? He didn't know what to do with it, no treatments and all that stuff. So he put his resources together, him and his wife. They found a doctor somewhere where they can help him, and miraculously, and that's literally what he said. When he said miraculously, we found something that can help, and treatment and all this stuff. And I said miraculously, baby, it was giving lies right then and there, right? And then he continued and said that he tried to get the boy to come out there and stay with him, but then his ex-wife intervened and said, don't help him, stop helping him, don't have nothing to do with him and all this stuff. And I said, that don't even fucking make sense. That don't even fucking make sense. Why would she say that? That don't make sense, okay? I said, baby, anybody believing that, you're just as dumb as him. I just don't understand. Like, all of this has come out of nowhere for me. Like, I mean, I understand, like, parents, and again, like I said, kids and parents, sometimes they have their little differences, they butt head or whatever. We've seen instances where, you know, celebrity kids and their parents or whatever, they go back and forth. You know, some people put this out, put that out, but it ain't never been nothing like this. It ain't never been nothing like this when it's somebody that we used to respect. Brian McKnight used to have some hits back in the day, and I can't even listen to his music. I can't even listen to his music. I should have known something was going on when he did that little comedy bit for Comedy Central when he made that song. Let me show you how your pussy work. I ain't gonna lie, bitch. I was like, girl, what? It was kind of catchy though. But at the same time, I said, what the fuck is this? I just did not expect to hear that coming out of Brian McKnight. And it's been downhill ever since. And that is a person. Granted, I know I just said people can feel how they feel about Chris Brown. And if you want to support him and all that stuff, support him. If you don't, okay, people ain't gonna stop. But this is a person right here. I just don't understand. How can you support? I don't understand it. I really don't. He literally said that his kid is products of sin and evil. Baby. Whew. Oh, that'll hurt me so bad. He better hope don't none of this deep. It's affecting him. He better hope that none of them do something so drastic because of the words that he keeps saying. And what I mean by drastic is taking themselves out of the equation permanently. You better hope nothing like that happens, okay? Oh my God, that just makes me so angry. Y'all just don't understand. Moving on from that, Sukiana, she got arrested for possession and intent to sell drugs. Nobody is surprised by that. So moving on. Alexa Sky was on live with Anthony. Now, if you want to say who is Anthony, Anthony is the dude that was on Real Housewives of Atlanta last season, or was it a couple of seasons ago, that basically was working for Sheree and was spilling all tea and trying to say that, talking about Drew and everything like that. Anthony has been on multiple reality shows and he's done nothing but been messy. So you have a reputation and people knows this at this time. So at this point, if you are befriending him, I feel as though you're just as messy. He gets on Alexa's live and he started putting out alleged information about Mendici allegedly out here cheating on Yandy. May or may not be true, but who the fuck is you to put that out there in the way that you did, right? And it's like you're so happy about it and you're gleeful about it, to the point where Alexis had to come back the next day and put out a video trying to apologize publicly to Yandy and Mendici for putting that out there and for allowing that to happen. And my thing is, it's too late. I don't want to hear it, because you literally sat there and you was laughing with him. You could have stopped him a long time ago before as soon as he opened up his mouth to start to try to say Yandy and Mendici was out here doing this or whatever. You could have stopped him, but you didn't. You could have cut the live. Even if you wanted to keep on talking, you could have cut the live, but you did not. So I'm not here for it. And then he want to come out here and try to do an apology too. Like, sir, all you do is be messy. That is one thing that I don't like. I don't like a messy, extra messy gay man. I'm sorry. And I'm in the community and I love a little drama. I love a little kiki. I love a little mess here and there. But when you are intentionally trying to do shit just to get known and get attention, it's just not a good look. And I don't like it. Y'all tell me how y'all feel. Tamar Braxton said that when she was doing that thing with Reality with the King, with Carlos King, this is what it says: in an alternative universe, Tamar Braxton might be a peach holder. Monday night, April 22, the 4-time Grammy-nominated artist dished in an ins and out of her world with well-known producer Carlos King at a sold-out. Let me tell you something. He was going off about how he sold out the City Winery. Y'all can call this hating if you want to. I don't give a damn. If you put in people that have big names like a Tamar Braxton, regardless of how you feel, she is a bigger name than him, if you ask me, because she's in the forefront. People do call to her. People do watch her stuff. And you can only get the City Winery and you selling out a venue that's only fit like less than 500 people. Anyway, that was a little shade. I didn't need to say that. I know. It is what it is. But basically, she said that, she was at one point offered to be on the Real Housewives, of Atlanta. And her thing was, listen, I'm not the one to be up here going back and forth with bitches and shit like that. Let me say what she said. She said she turned down the offer. I've had conversations, but the truth is there's just no way I'm going to sit for makeup, get a wig put on, get my makeup beat, to argue with a bunch of bitches for nothing. I can't do it. Let me tell you something. All money ain't good money. It's just not. And this is what I said. What's for me won't miss me. It's not worth my mental to sit up here and to get into an argument with another black beautiful woman about nothing so other people can think that this is what we're about. At some point, you have to take responsibility for what you put out on TV screen. I don't want to be a part of that kind of television. I want to make good, feel good, funny, good, relatable, epic television, and that's just not for me. My thing of it is, if it was anybody else, I probably believe this, but it's Tamar Braxton, and so therefore I don't. And what I mean by that is, you turned down an offer to be on the Real Housewives of Atlanta, and you back over there at WeTV now, a place that you was going back and forth with because they wasn't treating you right, they wasn't giving you the money right or whatever, and now they're giving you the money, so that's why you over there, because your mama said you want and all that stuff, that's why you back over there. Like, it just don't make sense to me. It's not really adding up, and I just feel like if she was offered, she knew that she probably wouldn't survive it. Them girls would chew her ass the fuck up. And to say that you wouldn't sit there and you're basically above going back and forth with people. You literally went back and forth with Candy online for free. At least get paid to do it. You literally go back and forth with your sisters on your TV show back in the day, and you got paid for it. The same thing that they do on the Real Housewives is no different from what y'all was doing on the Braxton Family Values. And the only difference is that y'all was sisters and y'all went back and forth. Okay? That's just what it is. And so it just makes me wonder how this new season's gonna go. I think the little 10 seconds blurb that said that it's coming in June, in summer. But my thing is, like, you argue with your sisters, and I guess the only difference is because that's your sisters or whatever. But you know, what's the difference? What's the difference? And then talking about money ain't good money. All money ain't good money, but you back over there at WeTV, the one that you claim basically one shit. So that's good money over there? Girl, come on. Just say you ain't got the chutzpah to go against these girls. And I know some people were saying, because I did tweet that, and some people was like, you talk about Tamar Braxton, you know, like, her sisters have her back and all this stuff, and this will happen or whatever, and she can't go against, you mean to tell me she can't go against it? No. Y'all can look at what y'all look at, but can y'all imagine her going back and forth with Kenya? Portia would chew her ass up. And let's talk about that. I know somebody gonna be like, Ashley, you just don't like. I don't. And that's just what it is. But I'm also being real, because I've experienced it, and I know what she's capable of. And she's not capable of handling herself with these women, okay? And so I just wanted that to be the truth right then and there. But hey, it is what it is. I mean, she probably don't want people to get up in her ass about that white man that she was with. But, who played her. But hey, it is what it is. Moving on from that, Sheree. Now, when Portia get up in your ass, don't be stuttering, okay? Now, let me tell you something. Portia ain't no saint up in this whole situation. She brought a lot of this shit on herself. Because why was you with that man? Fallon coming out talking about if she see Portia ain't gonna be no talking. Baby, ain't nobody scared of your ass, okay? I just want you to know that. You linking up with Dennis, ain't no, that's trifling as shit. I see why you and Simon was together. Y'all petty as hell. And then it's like everybody and their mama linking up with Simon at this point. I said, damn, Portia, you ain't got nobody on your side. Because now Sheree linking up with Simon. I said, what the fuck? And Sheree, girlfriend, like I said, if you do come back for the new season, don't be stuttering, because y'all filming now, right? Listen, it's just all really petty, and I just feel like the girls are too old to be doing this shit. Simon is petty as hell. Maybe he is taking, baby, somebody said he in the running to take Peter Thomas' place as being a petty little person. But hey, it is what it is. Y'all tell me how y'all feel about that. Tupac estate and family is about to sue Drake. They sending that nigga a cease and desist. They said you got 24 hours to pull that song off the fucking radio, off the internet, off of everywhere, or we gonna sue your ass. because he did a little diss or whatever to Kendrick Lamar, and he used AI versions of I don't know if it was Snoop, but I do know for sure that it was Tupac. And the brother came out and said, no, we're not here for that. Okay. And mind you, Tupac family is really cool with Kendrick Lamar. So that's another aspect to it. And I just don't understand how come you bringing other people into, like you brought a dead person into your goddamn beef. Like, what? What is going on? It is so ridiculous at this point. I don't know. But yeah. Can y'all just somebody put it in the comments? Now let me tell you something. Honestly, Drake, not really a fan. Okay? And I just not a fan of some of the things that he do in the way that I just find him real corny. Okay? But it's not enough for me to be trashing him all the time or whatever. Can somebody put it in the comments and please explain to me, like I am 5 years old, why is it that everybody now is coming for Drake? What went down? Because I still don't understand. You got Kendrick, you got Rick Ross, you got now Jeezy. Oh, it's just crazy. It's madness. And if y'all heard that, I'm so sorry for banging on the table. I am. Girl, they might be banning TikTok. Joe Biden signed that bill to ban it and said that, TikTok, they got 270 days to either, sell it or it's going to be banned. And my thing is, for fucking what? Nigga, we got, you sending more money to Ukraine. Okay. You can't fix this. Y'all, America is so... Our government is so unserious. You're worried about TikTok because you don't want certain information to get out there, because you don't want people to think for themselves and all of that. But yeah, you can't fix the shit that's going on in the country. People are still poor. Inflation and poverty is up. And you're worried about a fucking app that makes people happy in their time of desperation, in their time of pain, in their time of suffering. Something that gives people glee, and you are upset at it. Oh my God, just irritating. This country is just, this government is just really, it's really funny. It's really funny. Diddy drug mule Brandon, girl, they charged him. They officially charged him with 1 felony count of drug possession, and I heard he pleaded not guilty. Of course he's going to plead not guilty, but hey, I just wanted to give y'all a little update. And let me just go into this. The woman that was harassing Alec Baldwin, now let me tell you something, Alec Baldwin ain't my the favorite person on my list, but to just encounter somebody and to harass them while they minding their business and they ain't do shit to you. Oh, you killed that lady, say this and say that. Girl, what? You better be glad that's all he did was knock that phone out your hand, okay? Like, I just didn't see the point of it. Like, granted, he ain't my cup of tea, but like, what was the purpose? What did you think was gonna happen? What did you expect, or what did you want to happen after that? I don't know. It was just really dumb. And you want to know what else is dumb? This whole situation, I don't even want to talk about it. That's why I left it to the end. Beyonce showed us her real hair for the umpteenth time. For the slow bitches in the back. Okay, and I say for the slow bitches in the back because you still got people that's trying to deny and trying to say she wearing a frontal, she wearing this or she wearing that. Why do you wear wigs and all this stuff? The same reason why your ass wear a wig, to protect that bitch, because you don't want to do the hair when you get up. Okay, that's just what it is. She got long hair. The bitch been having long hair. I just don't understand why it's so hard for people to understand that she got long hair. Now you wanted her to say the controversy was how she selling a hair product and we don't even see her with her own hair and we don't see how it works. So she finally put it out, her using the hair product. We see her long hair and all this stuff. It's healthy and everything. And now it's, oh, you trying to make people feel bad and you trying to flaunt to other black girls that you got long hair and all this shit. Like, bitch, what? Y'all are so fucking ignorant sometimes, and I just feel like y'all hate that bitch just to hate that bitch. I just don't understand it. Y'all act as if Beyonce is the only black woman. Now you trying to say that she mixed. Now if she mixed, is Solange mixed? Because they come from the same mom and dad, right? Two black people. Come on, let's stop be dumb. It's like y'all act like it's so incomprehensible for black women or black people in general, but black women to have long, healthy fucking hair. I myself, who is not mixed with anything but nigga, had long, healthy hair before I locked it. And that's the reason why I locked my hair, because I didn't know what to do with it. Okay? There are so many people out here, so many women out here who have long, luxurious locks, hair, down to their ass, because they take care of it and they're black. And it's okay. It's okay. I'm pretty sure you would want your hair to be healthy underneath the wigs that you put on too, right? Come on now. It's so stupid. And let me tell y'all something. Speaking of TikTok, baby, I don't know what is going on and what is happening and why it just popped up, but is it just me, or is y'all For You page full of TikTok veneers versus dentists on TikTok? Because I don't know how it popped up on mine, but it's been like that for the past week. Baby, the dentist, the real dentist who went to dental school, who went to college and then went to dental school or whatever and got their degree, not a certificate, their degree in dentistry, are over it. They are overseeing people up here talking about some of their veneer technicians. Let me tell you this, bitch. Veneer techs are not a real profession. You cannot learn to do somebody's teeth in a couple of weeks and get a fucking certificate, and that makes you qualified to be up in somebody's mouth. Y'all going out here to these basements. Y'all going out here to people's freaking storefronts. Y'all going out here to people's houses to get your fucking teeth done. That only costs like $1,500, $2,000, when veneers cost way more than that, because they actually got to do the work, because they're skipping a whole bunch of steps. They're just placing some shit up on your teeth and fucking it up. Now, when your mouth fall off, don't say nothing. And I just want anybody who out here considering going to these veneer people, y'all are dumb as hell, and whatever happens, happen. And to the people that's doing this shit, y'all going to jail, because this shit is highly illegal. Okay? The gig is up. The gig is up. But anyway, it's time for me to get the hell up off of here, bitch. It is now 7:05. I started this at what? I don't know. But girl, y'all tell me how y'all felt about it. I hope y'all enjoy the rest of your weekend. Because the weekend, let me tell you something. I worked this weekend, Monday, Tuesday. Had to go to work on Wednesday too. I'm off today, off tomorrow. So this is my weekend. Today and tomorrow. And I gotta go back to work Saturday and Sunday. Oh my God, I'm just over it. I'm over it. But hey, a job is a job is a job is a job, okay? But congratulations to everybody that's graduated. Congratulations to everybody that's going to prom. Congratulations and happy birthday to everybody who have a birthday. Shout out to everybody. Give yourself a round of applause. Cause y'all that shit. And I'll see y'all later. Peace.